Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. Steve Bedell here, your eXp Realtor in the Villages. Let me start off with a couple of things first. Of course, I always want you to like and subscribe because I'm going to be giving you more information, more market data, more things that happen in the Villages all the time. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Secondly, if you're not familiar with eXp Realty, I'm part of eXp Realty. We closed more transactions in 2021 than any other real estate company in the United States. We have over 87,000 agents, so feel safe for dealing with eXp. Maybe you haven't heard of it because it's a local, but we are huge, believe me. Biggest, best, trust me. Okay, that's about eXp. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to you about some of the latest updates about what's happening in the Villages. Instead of just showing you graphs and charts and market data, well, we're going to have some fun. I put down some numbers here, and we're going to tell you what these numbers are. So I'm not only going to just show you a chart or graph and let you figure it out for yourself. I'm going to tell you what's going on here and what it means to you as a buyer and a seller. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Number one, 4. 4 is the absorption rate. You probably don't know what an absorption rate is if you're not a realtor, but what that is, it says if you took every property that we have on the market now and it's sold at the current rate that they're selling, the number, how long it would take to sell it in months is this number. So if we took all the properties that we have in the Villages for sale right now, didn't add another one, just sold those down, it would take about 4 months. Now what does that mean to you? Well, it's a good indicator of how things are going. And typically, I should have wrote these numbers down too. 1 to 4 is a seller's market. So technically, we are still in a seller's market because we're at 4. But I'll tell you we're at the high end of that 4 and we're approaching 5. What's 5 and 6 mean? 5 and 6 means a kind of a neutral market, favors neither seller nor buyer. So, you know, everybody's got an even shot at things. So that's what 4 or 5. 5 and 6. Once it gets above 6, buyer's market. That means you've got a lot less buyers than you got sellers. Now we have a lot of sellers. Could use some more buyers. Okay. All right. So here we go. Next number, 278. What is that number? 278 number of properties that we have for sale right now in the Villages. Now, I forgot to preface this with these are all figures that are taken from the MLS, Multiple Listing Service, like everybody knows. If you're not familiar with the Villages, properties of the Villages, they got their own thing going. They don't deal with MLS. They don't deal with anybody else. Got their own thing. It's just how it is. So these numbers reflect all the MLS numbers, don't have anything to do with the Villages. Okay? Alright, so 278.3. 278, that's the amount of listings that we have right now in the Villages, MLS Listings. Why do I have the 3 there? Because the 3, we have 3 times as many listings right now as we did when the market was hot about 6 months ago. So you can see, why do we have more listings? Because we have more people selling property and less buying them than we did 6 months ago. So more properties for you to choose from if you're a buyer. Great thing for you. 56. Let me see, why did I put the 56 there? Okay, 56, that's what we refer to as days on market. So currently, houses selling, when you put your property on the market, the median is 56 days. Again, back in the hot market, we're talking in hours on some property, but they were typically about a week. Now, 56 days. Now, if that sounds awful scary, remember that's kind of typical for a real estate transaction before we had the crazy market boom that was caused by pent-up demand, super low interest rates, pandemic, and other factors, okay? But 56 days now is kind of typical. So if you're thinking of selling your property in the Villages and you're thinking, well, I'll list it in a couple of months, well, I'd say maybe you ought to get going on that like right now, okay? 279 versus 245. That is a very real an important statistic. 279 is this is the square foot price. Houses had been selling typically for about the 279, 280 area per square foot. So you take the square foot of a house, multiply that number, that's your approximate price, okay? Now we're at 245, which you can see is a pretty significant difference. So, so prices have come down and leveled off some. But you've got to remember too, they poked up so fast and so high, we do have, I'd call it more of a correction than a decline or a fall. Okay? Alright. Now what's the next number here? We got 70, 17, 13. These are all percentages. So here's what that means. 70% of the properties that sold in the last week sold below the asking price, below the original asking price. 17% for the asking price, 13% sold above the asking price. So you can see they're not flying off the shelf, they're staying there longer, they're selling for less than asking price. So market changed significantly since about 6 months ago, okay? So here's what I'd say to you. If you're thinking of selling, I would really consider selling now. A couple of reasons. One, it does not appear the market will be heading upward anytime soon. And two, as I record this, it's almost January 1st. It's in what, 3 days or so? And there's going to be a lot more people in the villages here. January, February, March, tons of people in the villages. So if you're thinking of selling, get that property on the market now. Give me a call. We can take care of you. Okay? Now, what about for buyers? Well, it's a pretty good time to be a buyer because look, you got a couple of big reasons. You got a lot more properties to choose from now. So before you had to like overbid, put in conditionals, you know, make all kinds of deals to even get a house or hope you can get it. You had to cross your fingers and hope you got it. The market is not like that now. Now you've got a little more pull in these negotiations because you might get concessions from a seller. You might be able to buy it at a better price than you could before. Especially, this is really important, even though I'll tell you the Villages still has over 60% cash buyers. So these people, the reason, pretty simple, they sell their home in Michigan, a lot of them from Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, wherever they're from. They sell it, they take that cash, it comes down to Villages, they just buy another house with it. So 60% are still cash sales, over 60. But if you're financing, I know the rates are a little bit higher, they're sitting at about 6.5 right now. Consider this, you might have been paying, you get less house for that percentage rate, but now the prices have dropped down, so it kind of evens things out a little bit. And one thing that I think is really important, and I say to my buyers all the time, hey, marry the house, not the mortgage. Because what's going to happen? Let's say the mortgage goes up. Well, you're going to be glad you got it at the rate you did. Let's say the mortgage goes down significantly, you can refinance it at a later date. So, you know, it's important, but I want you to keep those considerations in mind when you're looking at a house, okay? So when you're buying, when you're selling, whatever you're doing, I want you to give me a call. I've got over 30 years as a real estate investor, which is critically important. I'm licensed in Florida. I can sell any place in the state. I was licensed previously in New England. I'm from New Hampshire. Go Patriots. Okay? Okay. So give me a call if I can help you out with any of this. Look for more numbers. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay? Alright. Thanks for watching.